So there's this odd story. I might get a little parts of this story wrong because I'm not from the East Coast. But in Nantucket Island, I just think this is interesting. Nantucket Island, 300 years ago, it had all these shipwrecks because Nantucket Island, I guess the coastline, never been there, is incredibly rocky, and they have all these shipwrecks against the coast. And the people of the island got so frustrated with boats crashing and people dying and bodies washing ashore that the people organized what they called the Humane Society. And now the Humane Society is known for taking care of dogs and I think cats maybe. But the original Humane Society actually started in Nantucket Island, where these people got tired of other people dying, and so they started the Humane Society. And every couple miles, 3 to 5 miles, they'd build what they called a hut of refuge. And they were manned 24/7 of somebody in there. And they trained themselves to go out in these little wooden boats in the middle of a storm and try and pick up any victims. And it's really quite incredible. Could you imagine in the middle of a storm, you are risking your own life to save other people's lives? They were literally the first lifesavers. And they trained, and they had this annual meal that they would have, this meal of commitment that celebrating their commitment to save other people's life. And they had a motto, and I like the motto. The motto is, you must go out. You may not come back. Because people are drowning. You must go. You may not come back. And the whole story kind of reminds me of religion. Just, there's a creed, and there's a meal, and even the phrase, you must go. You may not come back, reminds me at the end of Mass, because technically what the deacon says in Latin is, go because you are sent. You must go. You may not come back. You do have to come back to Mass, but you have to go out and save life. And I love that. And the problem is there's a strange mentality that happened in that we developed the Coast Guard, which is great, but with the development of the Coast Guard, the Humane Society stopped saving life. And this strange mentality started that, that kind of life-saving work, that's what professionals do. That's what professionals who get paid. They get paid to take the risks and risk their life to save other people's lives. So there's this kind of strange mentality. But, and to me, this is the really weird part, is that the descendants of the original lifesavers still today get together for this meal of commitment of what their ancestors did. And the strange part to me is this. They have the meal and they have the motto, but they don't have the mission anymore. It's really just kind of like a country club where it's about membership, but no mission. So they keep the meal, but nobody's saving any life. In an odd way, it's kind of also sometimes what happens to religion, that sometimes religion isn't offering this life-saving force in the world. It's very self-serving. And so I want you to remember that story because I think it relates to the gospel, but it's going to take me a while to get to the point, so really hunker down and relax. Because it is a very strange gospel. And the first part is, just to let you know in the Greek, it's really strange language because Jesus basically comes to church, the synagogue, and it says in the Greek, it says, there was a man in an unclean spirit. That's literally what the Greek says. Now that makes no sense in English, so we change it, that there's a man with an unclean spirit, or an unclean spirit in a man. Actually, it says the opposite. It says there's a man in an unclean spirit. And that should strike you as a first red flag that the gospel is trying to tell you something. It's very odd language. It's very odd that, this is another red flag, that really the evil spirits are in church. The one place you would think that you wouldn't find an unclean evil spirit would be in church. But that's where it is. And so the oddity is this. In the Gospel of Mark, he just called the 12 disciples to be fishers of men, to save lives. And the first miracle that happens in the Gospel of Mark happens in a church where he cleanses the church of evil spirits. That's the point. And evil spirits are in the church. That's where Christ first wants to cleanse and offer freedom. It's really this miracle of purifying religion. Remember, Christ came to save us, but also Christ came to save religion. And so the miracle is not that there's a man with an unclean spirit, it's religion that has an unclean spirit. Take that back. Not one, it says many unclean spirits in religion. That should shock you. And the spirits say, the evil spirits say, they ask the question, we know who you are. Have you come to destroy us? Yes. Let me answer that. Yes. Christ has come to destroy the evil spirits that are in religion. That's the shocking first miracle. And yes, there are many. And I forgot what the point was going to be, but who cares? Move on. No, really, have you ever had that? Like, I had a great point, but come back tomorrow. Maybe I'll remember it. But, so, you get how odd that is. And here's the other part. When they speak, they say, we know who you are. You are the Holy One of God. That's also shocking for this reason. The evil spirits have orthodox answers. If you notice in the Bible, the devil knows Scripture better than you. And now, evil spirits have the orthodox answer of who Jesus is. The apostles, they don't get it. And I've told you this before. In the Gospel of Mark, the apostles are the most dim-witted. And my joke is some of you people are. They don't have quite orthodox answers. And now, that's not a big problem. The reason why that's not a big problem is that what they want is to be fishers of men. They want to save lives. But yeah, they don't have all the right theological answers. And the point of that is that religion is not supposed to be about having just the right theological answers. Because if that's the case, then demons are saints. It's supposed to be about having this desire to save life, to be at the service of God. That's what demons are not. And this is my personal opinion, but I'm right. In my 25 years, priests that are too obsessed by orthodoxy, usually they just really want to control other people's lives. That's really what it is. That's my opinion. And usually their personal lives are really messed up. So anybody who has to overuse the word orthodoxy like I'm doing in this homily, really, it's about controlling. They're really messed up. Christ, oddly enough, in the Gospel of Mark, he can put up with, now I'm not pro-unorthodoxy, but he can put up with that if your desire really is to save people. And when he does free the synagogue of an unclean spirits, evil spirits, the people are shocked. And remember, the first half of the Gospel of Mark is him doing these miracles of healing. And the people are shocked. And in Greek, it's even better, where I love this. In Greek, it says the people are astounded. In English, it says the people are astounded. In Greek, it says they were knocked out with astoundment. Don't you love that? A little addition, like a punch. And the people say, and this is another little Greek I love. The people say he teaches ex ousia, out of his substance. not like the scribes and our religious leaders. They teach out of power. Jesus is not a religious leader. He's a carpenter. He's a layman. And yet, when he teaches and heals, it's out of his own substance. Now, in English, they translate it, he teaches with authority. Authority does not mean like a position of power. Technically, when it says authority, it means out of his substance, ousias, that he's authentic. Not authority in the sense of domination, but authority that he seems really authentic, unlike our religious leaders. Their religious leaders they teach out of power about rules and regulations, about how to control you. Do you see the huge difference that knocked the people out? Or did I miss you on that? Because the only one shaking their head is that poor woman there. What is wrong with the rest of you people? And it's also making a point. How we change the world as a religion is not by trying to control other people's behavior, not by giving them rules and regulations. It's about the authenticity of our own substance, of caring. And just a little Greek for you, ousia. Tonight at Mass, you're going to pray for literally in the Our Father. It doesn't say daily bread. That's just a bad translation. What it says is, give us, what you're praying, give us the bread of true substance. It's hard to translate, but that's what you're really praying in the Lord's Prayer. And then the immediate action after that is giving you the Eucharist so that you guys can live lives of living out of the substance of the Eucharist, your true substance, not trying to live out of controlling other people. It's making a statement about religion, what religion's supposed to do. It's supposed to free people. It's not about controlling people. It's about, like the Humane Society, we're dedicated in this meal to saving life. And so it's making a statement about religion, that religion is supposed to be this force of healing and life in the world. Now, Jesus is not saying religion is evil, because I'm just afraid at the door somebody's going to say, I agree, all religion is evil. No, it's saying that there is some evil in religion. And we pray that this miracle happens to us as well today. And so the same way that, to me, I think it's almost a joke that you keep the name Humane Society, you keep the meal, but you don't lose the mission. I think our religion is a joke. If we keep the meal, the Eucharist, and then you think religion is about saving you or you being able to control other people, that's just self-serving. And I don't think everybody really gets that. In fact, a couple weeks ago, the bishop came to miss Mass. Did you hear about that? Okay. Do you guys know about that? So he came to Mass, but he got the wrong time, so he comes at the end of Mass when everybody's leaving during communion. And so his secretary gave him the wrong time. So anyhow, I said, well, I'll take you out to lunch. So we went out to lunch, and our waiter, no, not the waiter, the maitre d', I forget what you call that, but the maitre d' says, oh, you're Father Len McMillan. I said, oh, yeah, how do you know that? And he says, oh, I went to your church once. And I said, great. No, thank God he turned out not to be Catholic. But he says, no, I don't know that, he says, it's this little place. He says, it's fantastic. And I said, well, what do you guys do? And he says, well, we play music. Well, that's nice. I mean, thank you for the music. But really, if it's about you just getting in for a jam session, playing the music, no, think about that. Isn't there something oddly self-serving about that if it's just you performing music? And I'm not against music, but how is that any different than saying religion is about rules to control people? It's still self-serving. The disciples, they might not have all the right orthodox answers, but they want to be fishers of men. They want to be lifesavers. And so my point being is this. The same way the Humane Society now, I think, is bizarre that you keep this meal and this pledge, but you don't save any life. Religion that is about really just gathering together in this self-serving way, that's an evil spirit that infects religion. It's the first miracle in the Gospel of Mark. So how about this? At this Mass, pray that the miracle continues, that Christ continues the miracle here today, that Christ frees us from all the evil spirits that change religion, our religion, from this force of healing and life-giving for other people into something self-serving, that Christ frees us from all those in our hearts. And our parish here, our parish really does become a hut of refuge, the same way it was meant to be 300 years ago. We become this outpost that looks out for people who need their life saved and guarded. That's what our religion was supposed to be, fishers of men, saving people. So as we celebrate and share in the ousios, the bread of true substance, pray out of the substance of our being that Christ really frees us to bring life to the world. It's the first miracle because that's what religion is supposed to be.